Okay. I think we're doing good. Everybody in the chat. Let's see. Live chat. Nope. All right, let me share this. Just to double check. Everybody's got it. Put that in the Discord. Oh yeah. Everything's super planned for today. But we should be good. That's everyone now live. Yeah, I mean, I know I'm early, but it's 5 minutes. It's all good. Just wrapping on with that. Okay. Cool. Open up OBS. Let's open up C4D. And then I'll swap over to desktop here so you can see what I see. Guess I can add my camera. Why not? Why not? There we go. I guess I should put that behind the media source. All right, now let me make sure I've got chat up. We'll just go ahead and swap over the desktop view. Get chat up here. Bleep. Minimize that. Live chat. Yo, yo. Can you see my chat? Yes, I can. Hello. Papas. What's up? Hey, you're hello. Hi. There's a little delay. Let me know. Say smiley face in the chat if you can hear what I'm saying. Yeah, it's coming in. There's a tiny bit of lag, but there shouldn't be. I have it on ultra low latency, so I should have chat be as fast as possible. Yes, Willavarus. Is that how you say that? Willavarus. That sounds cool. It sounds like your name sounds like a Dune character. All right, so this is not like this first live stream, is really like just to make sure everybody is having, not having any issues, finding their way through the content, watching everything. And then we'll just discuss some issues and stuff that we, maybe came across while creating our scene and stuff like that and going over inner settings and questions we had. But really, it's just to make sure everybody's kind of on the same page and ready to Willavarus. That's cool. Make sure everybody's on the same page. That way, when we get into the meaty content, which is what we're going to get into, I'll open it up right up to this so you can get started over the weekend or tonight, whatever you want to do. If that's how you want to spend your Friday night, listen to me. But yes, it's a real jump between this week's content and next week's, because basically we got like the basics, the foundation. We've got our scene set up, and then we're going to start just learning. We start with lighting, and so that's a big one. And we talk about why we start with lighting and stuff, because that's normally one of the first things we do in the scene, because everything is based around lighting. So yeah, any questions? about anything so far throughout the program? Yo, Michael. Yeah, I meant to say anybody is welcome to come. I'm gonna say that like live. Once you're part of the Mind in Motion, you are welcome. So you can always hop in. Your machine's ability to keep up. Okay, for sure. Honestly, all the content I made when I first started the course, I had a 3070 for this one, and then I upgraded to 3090 like halfway through. A Threadripper and 3 2080 Ti's. Oh no, you'll be fine. You'll be totally fine. The Threadripper has no say in how fast it renders. CPU does not matter at all. That has to do more with viewport performance and simulations, but actual render time is entirely GPU based. So 3 2080 Ti's, you should be fine. You won't be able to, well, yeah, you should be able to get the RTX boost, but it won't be as powerful. But if, yeah, so you'll be totally fine. We can discuss pizza, absolutely. Yeah, I'd say with 3 2080 Ti's, you should be good. There is a website you can go, like if you're ever curious about your speeds and stuff and hardware, just go to Redshift Benchmark, and right here there's a benchmark tool that you can do now within C4D that'll actually tell you what your score is on your actual machine and how it's set up. Because it's like, you know, yes, you have 3 2080 Ti's, but I don't know if your motherboard and stuff are all optimized so that it actually works the best. But you can see here, like I've got a 3090, which is what right here on the list. This project took 2 minutes and 42 seconds to render, right? And if you have, let's see if there's 2080s Ti's on here. There's one 2080 Ti, took 4 minutes. So, you know, there's two 2080 Ti's, took 2 minutes and 18 seconds. So faster already than my 3090. So you will have no issue keeping up whatsoever, especially if you have 3. You're rendering faster than me, so you'll be good to go. And I just Googled Redshift Benchmark. So, easy peasy. Pretty cool. And you have a Threadripper, which is more than I have a Ryzen 7. So, at this point, I'm really wondering if you were really asking if it was good or if you were just flexing how good your machine is. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, so we're talking about the fun shapes and stuff and the smoothing deformers and dragging and dropping things in. One thing I may notice, if you notice after saving or loading up the default scene, and for whatever reason, this button right here isn't working for you after an update or something like that, all you have to do is double click in here, and let's make sure we're in the node setup, yeah, and just, add in your nodes again, and then copy it over and then bring it back, right? Because sometimes whenever there's an update, it just changes things. Like I know when I went from 2023 to 2024, it like messed up this default standard material, and I just had to just make it again and throw it in there. So no simulation dynamics. Well, you'll get there. We'll get there. Dynamics and simulations are so good. So good. Yeah, you had to do that. Yep. It's weird. I don't know why. Cube. By the way, what did I show this? What tutorial did I show this in? Oh, the one that comes out Monday. Just a neat little tip. Basically, something that I do a lot is I use cubes or spheres, but I don't like the way they come in by default. So, by default, they come in and they're big and they're super flat and they have no fillet or anything, right? But I like to have fillet on them, just at least that. So I'll turn that on with this little checkbox here, and then you can drop down this arrow and say save preset, and I'll call it like cube 1, and set it as the default. And so now whenever I go to create a cube, it instantly creates a cube with the fillet on there, so I don't have to go down here and do that every time. And I do the same thing with spheres. I'll take a sphere, and normally I'll change it to icosahedron or hexahedron, just because I like the way that these polygons work with dynamics and stuff better. And I'll say 64 because that's a pretty good smooth one. And we can try to come up 100 because I don't want it to clip right in the middle. But I don't know, I'd probably rather have it right in the 0 in case I ever want to throw it in a cloner or anything. And so I would just save that as sphere 1, default, okay. And so now whenever I go to create a sphere, click, 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 boop, it'll be the way I want it. So I don't have to go through and do those settings every time. And then I'll just use the placement tool to put it where I want it to be. So yeah, we've got a sphere. Let's, mess with it. We'll do like 20. We'll do 32 to shrink it down. Throw that in a cloner. And right now I'm just playing around. Until you guys ask questions, I'll just play around here. 10, 10, 10, 10, 10. And what I get it down to, so 41, 41, 41, because that's twice the radius, right? Big background. Hit T, scale, whoops, T, not E. Scale that up. Grab our cloner, pull it up. Let's make it taller. Beep, 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 beep. Even more. Like that. We'll make one more sphere, but we'll change this one to a hemisphere. So it's right in half there. Hit R, rotate it around. So we got a nice bowl. So make it big enough to catch all these. Like that. Ta-da. Okay. It's okay. I kind of like the flat bottom. I'm making what you're making right now. Perfect. We'll come up. And what we're going to do with this sphere is we're going to click this and hold Alt and put a thicken on that bad boy. So now we have a nice thick shape, and we can do a little subdivision there. And well, that's fine. We'll just do 0 for the position. Cool. And we'll right click that, simulation collider. And our backdrop will do the same thing, simulation collider. And then we'll take our sphere up here and go to simulation rigid body. And now we can just hit play and watch all these balls fly into our scene. Before I do that, I want to make sure I'm on garage shading so I don't have to worry about all those polygons. Do I need to put this on my cloner? I always forget if I need to put it on the cloner. Yep. Cool. So now we add a bunch more frames in here, like 300. We go back, we hit play, whoosh, and we let them all kind of settle in. We hit pause, and we come into our dynamics tab here, and we go to initial state and click set state. So now we can go back and we just have a nice bowl of cereal. So I can play, we can like move our bowl around if we want and fling our stuff around. What are my project scale settings? 1 centimeter, Control D, and my scale is set to 1 centimeter. And if you ever need to change your scale with whatever you have based up, you can scale your project with this button here and just change it to whatever. So if I wanted it to be 1 meter instead, it would just obviously multiply that by 100. So it just does it all the conversions for you, so you don't have to go through and do it. In case you didn't know. Also, in case you didn't know, you can do math in any attribute field, which is a really helpful one when I was like when you're doing things that need to be iterations or whatever, a certain amount. I could be like, oh, it needs to be 70 something, whatever, bigger. I can say like plus 72 in case I can't do simple math, and hit enter, and that will do the math for me. You can do equations and stuff too, I believe, but then we're getting into too fancy stuff. So let's just grab our bowl, right click, put a vibrate tag on it, and let's just shift it around a little bit like that. And let's just hit play and see what happens here. Woo! Pretty fun. No, not fun. Okay, let's go back. Vibrate tag is the worst. It's the best and it's the worst at the same time. It's the best because it's like super easy for getting a really organic looking motion, but the worst because whenever you use it, it resets like the position of stuff, and there's no fixing it. There's no going back. Okay. Substeps and iterations for what? Dynamics? That's really based on each scene. So we'll go into dynamics, and it's all default 21 iteration. It really depends on what you're doing. Cloth, if I would go lower, like 10 or so for like softer looking motion and stuff like that, which we talk about in the dynamics week. But normally when stuff is colliding or clipping through things, it's normally more of an issue with the geometry and the settings in your dynamics than actually the substeps and stuff like that. So basically, like, if for whatever reason this stuff is clipping through our bowl, we would need to come in here and take a look at, like, if we had something, if these were like really small, like 1 centimeter, and you go into your collision, and you can see our thickness here is set to 1.5. So if all our spheres were 1 centimeter, and we had a thickness of 1.5, nothing would actually collide with each other. There'd be like a 0.5 cushion between everything, and you don't want that. So you would lower that down. And normally that's going to be, this is probably the first thing I would change if your dynamics are looking weird or clipping through stuff, because this is really a big source of pain, I guess, for dynamics. But yeah, so there's that. Yeah. So then what do we do here? We do a little ceramic bowl. We type in like a ceramic. And again, stop me if you want to go over anything else. And I'm just throwing in random things on here. You could put it in a toilet or a urinal if you wanted to. That might be fun. And I don't have max on 1, so we can only use the free things. So that's good. All right, and now let's go ahead and create like a corn puff material, right? Because these look like corn puffs or Cocoa Puffs. I was a big fan of Cocoa Puffs. Let's do that. So let's grab a noise. Let me go in here to my preferences and turn on previews so that we can actually see what's going on here. Redshift, material previews on. And the reason I had those off is because when you're importing something with a bunch of textures, that can really slow things down. So once you turn that on, you may notice that nothing actually renders. So how do you get this stuff to pop up? Well, you simply just like come in here to all your stuff and select them all. And then I'd like to click this little arrow and I just go to default, because that way it won't actually change anything. But it does force it to refresh. So you don't have to change the value or anything. And it just makes everything refresh. So now when we open this up, we should have gotten all of these images, but I guess it didn't care. Can I refresh inside of here? Because it worked on the outside layers. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe I need to make a new one. Click, and that one will be there. Yeah, weird. Okay, but so let's make some Cocoa Puffs. Cocoa Puffs? Yeah. Drag our max on noise in here, and with this max on noise, we'll isolate that. And I don't know, Papa's like, how familiar are you, I guess is the first question, with Redshift? And first question, Redshift. Second question, Cinema 4D. Because I want to like cater to kind of the class's skill level. And that's kind of what the first project's really for, to get a gauge of where people are at. So I don't want to blaze through a bunch of stuff like that and overwhelm people. So we'll turn on our render view. And we'll talk about this gobo lighting on here. But okay, so the scale of this is terrible. We'll say 100. And we want to put this on our Cocoa Puffs. There we go. The reference node on multiple materials using the material and displacement blenders. Okay. C4D for 5 years. Okay, cool. I have a tutorial that just came out 2 weeks ago that exactly talks about the reference node in multiple materials and displacement blenders, but we can talk about that as well too really quick, because that's fine. Let's change this to turbulence, and then we'll come in here to the source output, and we'll clamp it down a bit, And that's pretty good. We'll say like 50. There we go. And we'll say -1. So it squishes it in. And then we'll use another noise. It's just a different seed. And we'll take that down and back up. And we'll make this one like brown. Brown. Brown's the hardest color to make in these things. There's brown and another brown. And we'll plug that into the color and make it rough. And obviously turn that off. I don't know the secrets of things, but can get around. I'm not sure what you mean. But let's unsolo this. But I'm sure we'll uncover some secrets. Those are too glossy. I mean, not glossy, too matte. Let's make them a little glossier. I like that. And I think we should probably put the roughness, like maybe not so uniform. So we'll just copy the same thing onto here. Actually, we'll just copy this, change the seed, and throw that on there. Just going to give us some randomness with that reflection. It's in all my tutorials. Kit Bash 1 made me want to work with you. Nice. Okay, great. Thanks. I have another Kit Bash 1 coming out Monday. That's a big one, as you know. These look like Cocoa Puffs a little bit. We could use displacement if you wanted to. We'll do another random seed. Let's do that number. Throw that in there. Texture, text scale. -1. Click, right click. This, I'm gonna save this. Actually, I don't need to, but why not? Serial. And we'll put geometry, desolation, which is the secret sauce, and displacement. And now we wait. Okay, but we'll talk about, we'll do reference nodes. Here, I've gotten sidetracked by wanting to create tessellation. So I can't do it because these are render instances, which is fine. If I want these to just be a scene, I would just get rid of the dynamics, honestly. And then I guess I would just bake it and then do it. Yeah, so dynamics, we can just get rid of that tag. And now we should be able to take it from that to instance, which will allow us to do the tessellation. I don't think we're going to need that displacement. I think it's going to be way too much, but we'll see. It reset everything. It wasn't worth it. I should have converted it. Whoop. All right. We don't need to worry about that anyway. We don't need displacement. Really don't know how to animate, get things ready for animation. Mostly been doing stills. Okay. Well, the good news is with your GPUs, animation is definitely in the realm of possibility. Let's just top this off with another sphere, hemisphere, and then rotate it. I really want that to have a cap though. So what we'll do is go to the edge mode, double click the edge, right click, and say close polygon holds, and we'll just go boop, click, nope, yeah, click, thank you, not there, click, click, and hello? Is it doing that? There we go. Cool. So now we'll take that and we'll say Shift S, or sorry, U Shift S. This is a secret. If you want to know secrets of subdivision, you do this without smoothing it. And now we'll get all of that. Oh, we're going to right click it all. U Shift S. Now subdivide it. Now we get all that crazy on the top. Put that in a remesher. Hold Alt, throw that in the remesher. Let it cook. And the whole reason I'm doing this is I'm just making milk. I could, did I get rid of all my, Oh yeah, we're good now. We've got all kinds of lines. That's fine. C, we'll grab that, put a displacement modifier on that, bloop, and put that in a noise. And all these sound effects and things are very important to the process. So keep that in mind. Make sure overall scale. Whoop. There's our, that looks like milk, right? Scale it down and displace noise. Add a 0 in here. Not 0, but 1000. There we go. And honestly, not even that much. I mean, like that, right? I probably didn't need to add that much geometry to it, but I did. T, scale it up. And let's just put a taper on it. I'll hit C on these two things. So select both, right click. And I know I'm just flying through, mainly because I don't really know why I'm doing this right now. I should just go ahead and do the other thing. Advertising, branding, industry for designer. Nice. Okay. Cool. See, that's interesting because stills are the thing I struggle with the most with 3D because I come from a video background. So I love to do animations. We'll make that. We'll put a taper in that because, like, for me, it's like, how do I make it everything I want in there to be in there? We'll hold shift on this. We'll do -y, fit to parent, strength. Oh, not -y. Yes, -y. I just clicked the wrong button. Strength. There we go. And just like that. Cool. And maybe now we can just take the whole thing and squish it. Not that. Everything. Okay. Right click, connect and delete, squish. Do I have snapping on? When did I turn that on? And we'll just do a new material on that, which will be like milk. So we'll say, take that down, transmission, almost all the way up. And then some subsurface all the way up as well. We'll make this like slightly gray. Will that look cool? I don't know. Do we get copies of these videos? They'll be live. YouTube saves everything, so the link will forever be used, and I've uploaded them on the site. That is too clear, so too much transmission. 0.24. 0.4. 0.65. Better. Depth 1. Actually, I probably could just do... There's probably a milk preset. Yeah. Anyway, let's talk about... let's delete everything. New scene. And let's talk about the materials and mixing and the edges, right? So let's grab this cube. Let's try to fill it off. And let's connect that. Make a copy of that. Pull it over here. Pull it up there. Like that and that. So we just have this like 3 shapes here. And we want this all to be one shape, right? So we're going to right click and say connect objects and delete. And there we go. So we're going to throw a material on this. And we want to make the edges of this a certain color, right? Let's go ahead and throw, we'll just do a backdrop real quick. T, scale it up. There we go. We'll throw a new material, oopsies, on that. Okay, cool. And we'll do a sunshine, right click the sun. This is my new favorite light. And we're going to go to render tags and sun expression and make it like, I don't know, 740. Let's see what that looks like. Right, you have the displacement, you have to copy the displacement over. It's the only thing that's the downside. And so we'll put this sun and sky in a null so we can rotate it around easier. And rotate that this way. There we go. Like that. I like the shadows there, but nice, cool. Okay. So let's just grab this material and we'll make something cool. We'll just do something simple with displacement. We'll do a tile shader. And we'll go ahead and we'll just make everything white, this sort of gray, and this black, right? Pretty much black. And randomize color, set it to like, not rings, planks, bricks probably fine. Let's just do bricks. Plug this into displacement, texture, text map, and we'll right click this cube and say render tags, redshift object, geometry enable, tessellation enable, and that. Now the tessellation probably is going to jack it up because we don't have like any tessellation at all in our scene. So we're going to need to do that on our cube, which again, hit Control A while you have everything selected in the polygon or the polygon face mode. Hit U, Shift S. So now we can subdivide the stuff without smoothing it. And there we go. So now when we add that tessellation, it won't, change it too much. We'll do it again, U, Shift S. Hello. U, Shift S. And we'll just say like 4 times that time. There we go. So now we have a bunch. Turn that tessellation on. Redshift render view. Okay. All right, cool. So now we've got that. Let's go into here and let's just take this over here and we will just go to our displacement and say -1. Like so. And Redshift's going to freak out, but we're going to go ahead and say 5 and 5 because we really want it to pop out. Boom, like that. Maybe that's too much. 4 and 4. Cool. And now let's say we have like, we want to do like a wall over that was like painted on top of it or something, maybe. I don't know. Anyway, we'll throw something else on here. Do another material. And we'll throw that one on here for right now. And we'll give it some displacement as well, but we'll make it like a noise, turbulence, scale, 150. Throw that on there. Texture, text map, like that. Okay. Refresh. It's just kind of wavy, squiggly. Not bad. Kind of like a stucco wall. Stucco? All right, so now let's go ahead and create a new material. Inside of this one is where we'll put our mix. So we'll say reference, right? Boom and boom. Blend, or actually just probably layer would be fine. Material layer. We're also going to need we're not going to need that either. So material layer. So, all right, so as you know, to blend these two, you got your material 1. You say this one. I should have labeled these to make this easier. And material 2. Let's see. This one is what? Okay, this is wobbly. And this one is going to be bricks, right? No? Is this the bricks? Okay. That's why you label things. Bricks. All right, so now in this we have wobbly and bricks. And we're going to go with wobbly on top at the base. I wish that those were flipped. And this here. And we'll do like a mask of noise, excuse me. And we'll say, make it really distinct. It needs to be 0.5 and 0.5 for the clipping. So it's like exactly black and exactly white. And we'll say 100 for the scale, just so we can make sure we see it. And then we'll plug that in to the material mask and plug that into the surface. What was that sky expression? The sky expression basically allows you to set like the time and day. You can even set the location. You can make it current time. You can do time lapses. I covered in the tutorial coming out Monday, but basically, if you want the sun to change, you want it to be more of that golden hour, you can, crank it up and make it a little lighter in the day, and it instantly gives you like real world daylight horizons and stuff like that, just based on the time of day. It's just like an easier visual way to figure out your lighting and stuff. So we have both of these going on, and we want to make sure we've got this on our cube. So we're going to make sure that we actually have the right thing on there. Refresh. and we have nothing going on, right? Like this. So this is what you're saying. So let's just go in here and let's make the bricks. Let's make them red just so we can see them. All right, we just want to make sure this is the blend one, right? Yeah. So this is what I'm curious about. Should be mixing those two. Refresh, refresh, refresh. RS preview material not available. Why? Wobbly. This should be working. What's it called? You just right click on it and it's under render tags and it's called Sun Expression. And also whenever you are like looking for a tag and you don't know where it is, you can just right click and start typing. So you can type in sun and it'll filter it out, and it's only one with sun in there. So that's a good way to remember that. Pretty cool. Okay, so why? Let's delete that. Let's reset this. Make sure this is working. That's bricks for sure. Delete. Wobbly. Go on there. That's working. Okay. Delete. This. Reference node. Wobbly. Bricks. Material layer. Surface. But I throw that on there and it's not working. That's stupid. Okay, so that's incredibly annoying. This is obviously working. Okay, create a new one, wobbly. Throw that in and put color. Throw this in, base color. What is happening? My mind is. Do you guys see what's going on? Well, the material layer should work. It's exactly the same as the material blender, but I'll try it. Material blender just can do more than one. Color, material color, blend color, surface. Oh, no. Do I need to just like drag and drop these in here? Is that the issue? Oh, you know what it is? This is what I was talking about. This is a weird bug that for whatever reason, when we use our custom made things as the default, they don't work in the reference node. That's the bug. So we need to double click in here, create it this way, open up our brick, take all this, copy it, go into here, paste it, okay? Delete that. And then inside, this is our mix, right? Inside of this, we'll be able to reference that mat, which is going to be our brick 2. And then we'll need to double click in here, make a new mat. We'll make this the new wobbly 2. Go into our wobbly, copy. This is such a stupid bug. Delete, paste. There we go. And now, in our mix layer, we'll go to this reference node and we'll grab wobbly 2, put it in there, and as you can see, it works. So I don't know why that's a bug, but that troubleshooting right there, that's what that is. Simplest answers. Oh, it's your material preset you made. Sure, why? Of course that would somehow affect the reference node. I don't know, but there we go. So like you see, we have, the colors obviously coming in, but not the displacement. So how do we get the displacement in here? Well, you just have to do the same thing again, but the displacement. So that's really it. You can't like reference node the displacement, but you do just mix it the same way. So we would say C displace blender, whoop, and then we would hook that up here. Displacement, max on noise, goes to the blend weight, of course. And then we would just go into the brick and copy these two and go into the mix, paste. Okay, I hate when it does that too. Copy, paste, thank you. And that will go into input 1, and then wobbly, copy, mix, paste, 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 paste. Copy. It's just a weird. So like what? Right click. You and you. Edit. Copy. Mix. Edit. Paste. Literally the same thing. I don't know. So those two would just go in here to this. So we've got brick going in one and that going in one. So you just want to make sure they're in the same order. Brick on top and wobbly on the bottom. Refresh this and we'll get bricks on the white and the wobbly. Sorry, the bricks on the red and the wobbly on the white. So now the cool thing is if we really wanted to, we just mess with this noise, right? So we'll change this to like turbulence. And that'll mix how those are mixing, and it'll affect both the displacement and the way they're mixed, which is nice. And we can scale it up and make it a little less. We can say like 0.4 and 0.6. So there's like a little feathering, and we'll say like 500 for the size. Because those real harsh edges, you gotta refresh this. It didn't used to do that, but now we have sort of like this white goop all over our brick. So if you had like a nice brick wall and you wanted to put snow on it or something like that, this is a really great way to do that and combine that. And then if you want to do the edges, that's like a whole nother step in there, you know, but you do it the same way. You just repeat it. So once you build it for the material, you would then build it for the displacement. You just treat it like it's two separate things is the main thing. And just for the sake of trial, let's put a material layer in here. And we'll put this on here to base material. This layer 1 color. This layer 1 mask. That into that. And there we go. Yeah, so it wasn't the material layer. It was just the fact that there was an issue with our preset shape here for whatever reason. Dumb. But there we go. We figured it out. Got there in the end. And now we can use, you know, whatever we want. If we want to use tile shader here instead, we do like random. And we do this. Oops. Mask. What happens when you run out of displacement slots? 6 materials, but only 3 displacement slots. What do you mean you only have 3 displacement slots? You can just add another blender layer on there and keep going. I don't know why it limits it like that, but that would be it. So this would be the same as just stacking on a 4th layer. But if you're getting to the point where you're doing that, I don't know what kind of material you're making. That's crazy. It's cool. Triangles. Refresh. I hate that it does this now. Yeah, so you just plug it in. You can just chain them. I'm not sure why it limits it to 6. There used to be... Okay, so here's a big thing that the node editor doesn't do that the old shader graph does, right? Okay, let's go ahead and go to Edit Preferences, turn off the node preset, and double click a new material here. So now we have the old shader graph. The cool thing with the shader graph is if I want to create a reference node for these, is I grab brick, pull it in, I grab wobbly, pull it in, and that's it. It creates the reference node for me. It's already hooked up and done. But you can't do that in the new one. I don't know why they got rid of that feature. That was a fantastic feature. There used to be, there's also a, there's a few things in here that aren't in that other one. I don't know what remark is. IOR to metal tints, the shader switch is also another. Well, no, you don't need that one either. There used to be some more in here. There was one you could do that allowed you to just like create a bunch of different shaders at once. Was it the multi-shader? Yeah. So you could bring in, so rather than just, let me see if this exists in the new one, because I'm curious now. Edit, preferences. I know I don't have to do this, but I'm going to. New material, and I want to say multi-shader. See, it's not there anymore. Utility. Right, that's what it was called, right? We do have substance painters though now, which is awesome. And I do it, made real location landscapes that have many different materials, gravels, trees, rocks, snow in one material. Oh, I see. And I do it to render out in 4K to something my icon is blocking to print out. Oh, that's all it says. Okay, that should work. I think just chaining those displacements on there. That's crazy. It sounds really cool. I'd like to see those. I love landscapes. So yeah, check. So that doesn't exist now, which is really lame. So we'll go back to the shader graph one. And this RS multi-shader, you could just add shaders and you just say how many slots you wanted. So you could have 40 if you wanted to, and they could all just be different shaders. And they could be images, they could be whatever, or they could be materials. I don't know why that got rid of it. Also, the drag and drop feature was great, but you can see that there's just more here than there is in here, which to me is really stupid. See, there's like, I don't know, but maybe there's more here actually. I don't know. Redshift is at this point right now where it's kind of caught in this weird gap between really integrating into Cinema 4D for the future, and everything that's coming is going to be good. IOR to metal tints, that's cool for maps, but it's still the issue is Redshift can't solely build everything for C4D because it still has to work for Blender, it still has to work for Unreal Engine, it still has to work for 3ds Max and other softwares. So it's like slowly getting better stuff inside of C4D before other things, but not just jumping straight in. Check Discord. Okay. Do you guys have any other questions though? Michael, did you figure out your bubbles thing in the background? Where am I checking Discord? I don't see anything in Discord. Oops. Oh God, I just opened up the wrong thing. Oh, okay. Oh, nice. Perfect. I think that's good. A good call. I'm answering them. Good. Okay. Well, that's the key. I want to make sure everybody feels like they've got progress and they feel comfortable. So next week, well, tonight, I guess, or today, I'll unload the new content, which is really going to be the BP stuff, where we get into lighting and things. And there are some cool things that I want to mention before we get into lighting, which is the fact that, besides the sun expression thing, the fact that they've added new stuff, right? So we're going to go ahead and target this with an area light and pull this back like so, make it big like that. And we'll just throw this on there. Just regular brick. Turn off the tessellation. We'll just make it red. That's fine. So what I want to do is with this area light, take the spread all the way down. So we'll render this, and it should be pretty, super harsh light blasting in there. Neat. Let's lower this down to like 10. There we go. Okay, cool. But there are a lot of really cool new gobos inside of here. They're not as versatile and diverse as CG Hacks is that we talk about. We've got a discount code to those. His stuff is awesome. Dustin stuff. But if you type in Gobo, we actually have some options here now. I'm still working on my pack of just nice, noisy, abstract ones. But there's actually some nice Gobos in here, like this Gobo. You can just drag and drop those in, and voila. Now we have, a nice scene. Let's go ahead and stretch this out. Say stretch, pull it back. And we can say like 0.01, so it's just a little bitty bit soft, like that, right? And we'll take it and we'll pull it forward a bit, so we're kind of coming at it a little different. Do Gobos need to be EXR files? No. It can be whatever they want. It's just a black and white image. I mean, these are PNGs that come in here, so. But yeah, there we go. Now we have this nice cool thing. We can go to Redshift Objects Environment. Get that nice fog coming in. Area light, volumetric attribution like 0.01. Beautiful. So now, we come in here and look at this from the side, and we'll have these nice beams of light coming in. And maybe let's dock this real quick. And we'll say, maybe not 0.01, but maybe just 0.1. There we go. So it's a little more dramatic. We will create a new material, grab a max on noise, change the input to turbulence. Discord has the image in live stream now. Awesome. Beep. Boop. Whoa. So you're telling me that this is one texture? This looks like my base in Icarus. So that's a real location. That's cool. Okay, real quick, let's grab this noise and we'll make the scale of it like 250, and we'll clamp it up just a bit like that. And we're gonna grab that, and we're just gonna actually bypass all this junk and take that and plug it into volume. And we're gonna grab that volume one and throw it on our environment. And now, oof, you see how it's like all wibbly wobbly? We actually need to increase the scale of that to way, way bigger. So maybe add another 0. There we go. And we can scale some things around. Maybe make it look a little cooler like that. Maybe just say 1. Maybe we'll say like 0.1 in this though. No, not that way. 0.1 this way. Nah, just leave it at 1. We can add some more octaves, change the noise type if we want. Luca. "60-inch wide printout." That's cool. So now we have weird little things here. Let's do FBM is probably my favorite noise. Yeah, there we go. So now we have this cool noise. How do I soften the gobo? Just changing the spread. We cover it next week for sure. But in the object tag of the light, by default, you want it super harsh at 0. And then if you want your spread to be like not a tight Fresnel type lens, you leave it at 1, and then you're going to lose all definition. It's just going to be like a huge diffuse right over top of your light. So you have to go really, really small increments, like 0.01, and that'll soften it up. Like watch the difference between how much it softens here. We'll look at this like this. So we're looking at this. Let's grab our light and just fatten it up so it's more square. There we go. And to soften it, if we say 0.01, and that's going to blur that quite a bit, right? But we still have, the look of a nice gobo, which is pretty cool. And obviously with God rays, it's always cooler to look back at them. And off to the side. Wow. GI. Yeah, and that might be a scene scale thing, because how big is this light? 10 meters? Well, I don't know, actually. And instead of the sun. So I don't know. But yeah. You can always play around with this too. 0.01. Make it a little softer. But moody. Can I talk about global illumination? Sure. Let's see, what time is it? Yeah, I've got 8 minutes. And if we, don't get to cover something this week, since I have to go today at 4, we can talk about some more stuff, and we can do another live stream next week early if we need to in the week. But I know that the next week there'll be more questions because it's a lot more content. So we'll talk about that. And we talk about GI a lot in the lighting week as well. But GI is really just when light bounces off stuff, right? So like we have this one light coming in. Let's turn off our environment. We just have our light, and we have a white floor and a red reflective square. And you can see like on the actual ground here in the render, we've got red color. There's nothing, no red light or anything on that. So basically, obviously that's the light hitting off of this and bouncing onto the floor. And that to me is what makes things look great. Just like stuff like that. And these like shadows, this is what GI does. It fills in these gaps that are like a little brighter. So before GI, that's where everybody had to use ambient occlusion. And everybody gets kind of stuck on ambient occlusion thinking they really need it, when really it's kind of obsolete now. But it still has a purpose every now and then. Excuse me, 2 gobos always project, meaning it really does a nice job on the volume, but may not want the shadows. Well, you can turn off shadows if you want. So like, let's say you wanted these, right, but you didn't want you like the volumetric rays, but you don't want the shadows. You would just come in here to your cube, like whatever you have here, right click and go to, sorry, no, not even that. Well, let me think about this. There's ways to do this. Because you want the shadows from your cubes, but not the ground. So you're trying to not make it photorealistic, but you just want it stylistically. Well, I'm trying to think, because if you just go to your area lights and tell it to exclude your floor, that's going to leave you with this and not that. So then what we should do is copy the area light and then go into the object and maybe delete out the gobo. Make this one not affect volumes at all, but have this one affect your background. And you might need to adjust the brightness a little bit to match, maybe even lower, because whenever you add a gobo, it really dims it down. But yeah, so that's how I would do that. So now you have like the full light of your scene and the God rays. So you can increase the spread of this, I guess, if you really wanted to. So you can make it like a little softer, fall off, but keep the gobos and keep the shadows and stuff from your red cube on your floor. Is that showing up on the scene there? So we still have the fog, but we don't have the shadows of the fog. Yeah, cool. It's just an area light with low spread to make the fog look so good. Yeah. Well, the fog looks extra good because of the texture I threw on the fog as well. Without the texture, it's a lot more like God ray, less fog, more haze. I talked about it in my video on Monday, but I'm like, I really feel like they mislabeled these things. And this part that's called fog should be called haze, and this part that's called general should be called fog. But yeah. So that's what you want. Cool. Yeah. And so one thing I always do with fog that I don't think is taught enough is by default, the GI is off because of render time. It just saves a lot on render time to not have the GI. But the whole point of a hazer and a fog is so you get light bouncing around. That's like the entire point. Besides, it's just looking cool when light's in there. But like as a photographer, videographer, hazing a room up just makes it look cooler and brighter because of the GI. So you can crank that up. So that's what you do. And you asked about like the strength of it. You can multiply it in whatever you want. Just know that the more GI you have, the longer the render time is going to be, kind of a thing. But there you go. Art. Any other questions before we wrap it up for this week? Let's throw one of my rubbers on here. Doop, doop, doop. Get that SSS going. Let's make it a little thinner. Scale 0.5. There we go. Let me take a new camera. We'll do like 150 mil. Let's look through that. Zoom out, maybe like this. Let's go back to the original light with the fog, but don't extrude the background. Because I like the haze there. We'll take that. We'll do optical. Click to focus, like right there, and we'll make it a real small bokeh, like 0.25. And there we go. We've got art. Right? Something about the composition of this isn't right. Maybe like that. Click to focus right there. Can I make a tutorial on how to make sound effects? Yeah, I should just release a sound pack that's just me making right there. Yeah, that looks that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Click right here. Can I send you guys images, stuff I'm working on to get some input, feedback, suggestions as I'm building them out? Absolutely. Yes, that's the whole point of the Discord for sure. Now, do I like this or do I want to grab this material, throw some transmission on it so it's like kind of see-through? We'll make that like a light pink. Okay, and then we'll throw some metalness on it. Now we're getting weird. I'm going to come in here to the thin film and throw some thin film thickness on it. What are we going to end up with? Probably something disgusting. Let's crank up the IOR to a ridiculous amount. Half the reflection. I don't even know what I'm doing now. What am I doing? I've ruined it. It's fine. Cool. Yeah. So hopefully that answers most of your questions. It's 4 o'clock. I'm super excited. Like your thing submitted for feedback. Hope you got to watch. So I think you saw that. Do you have any questions on feedback or anything? I'm gonna make sure that I pull that up and show that because it was cool. Effectatron. Hey, where's all my stuff? Yeah. There. Super cool. Super cool. I don't know what this is going to look like, but we'll see. Yes, so if you feel free to share stuff, whatever. This video, I've posted it on chapter 1 at the end of chapter 1 in the curriculum on the Mind and Motion course. So it's always going to be there for you to go back and watch. And I won't delete it or anything off YouTube. And it's still in the Discord as well, but it'll probably be easier to find on the curriculum. So good stuff. As always, I think I need to take all of these weird tweaks and changes that I put on this and take them off because they're screwing it up. But yeah, good stuff. I'll see you all next week. We'll talk next week for sure because next week's a lot of content. And I will go ahead and release it all today. Thanks for hopping in, Michael. And how do I say it? Will Avaris. That makes me want to watch Dune. Yeah. Yes, you too. Enjoy your weekend for sure. Is that going to be better? Yeah, that's cool. Any whoozy whatsy. I like that. All right. GG's. This is what I always say when I'm leaving. Later.